Hi everyone. Sorry I'm not there still. I'm hoping I'll be back really soon. Um, you're in good hands, I know, with Miss Kringen. And anyway, hope the rollout went well yesterday. I'm really excited. This is one of my favorite projects. The Lakota Way is one of my all-time favorite books. I know you guys are gonna really enjoy it. Um, so what you guys are going to be doing today? Um, so the book we're going to be reading, The Lakota Way, and the connection we're making to global issues deals with climate change. What we're going to do today is there's a little exit ticket we're going to be doing, and then you guys are going to be answering some questions, just some basic things about climate change. So here's what I want you to do for the exit ticket. If you click on Shift in Spending, this is the activity. So there's an article here. I'm going to look at it with you in just a minute, and then I want you to look at it in a little more detail and then answer a couple questions. These are President Trump's potential 2018 proposals for discretionary spending. I think we've talked about discretionary spending. Two-thirds of the United States federal budget is called mandatory spending, meaning the government has to spend this money on these things because it's mandated by law, and the majority of it is made up of Social Security, Medicaid, and interest on the debt. We have to pay those. There's no discretion in that. The rest of the money, the president and the Congress gets to decide how we spend it. So the president has proposed some changes in how we spend that money. We're going to take a look at an infographic and a website that kind of breaks down the changes that he has proposed. And then you're going to answer these questions. So let's look at the article real quick. You can either follow along with me or if you want to open it. So the basic proposal, I'm not going to go through this. It's a little complicated. You can see 73% of our spending is mandatory. Here's the discretionary, which about half is defense. The rest is all the other programs. The primary thing I was going to show you, and then I want you to look at it on your own, is here. So here's the proposed spending cuts. Now you see this is only a small amount here and this is a large amount. That's because the budget for these programs is a lot smaller than these. The defense budget is right around $600 billion, where the EPA budget is like 8. That's why these numbers. So he has proposed a reduction in the Environmental Protection Agency budget. I think it's around $2.5 billion. The State Department, Department of Interior, and then it's roughly $56 billion that will be cut from these programs, and then will be added to the Department of Veterans Affairs, Department of Homeland Security, and the Defense Department. What I want you to do is I want you to look down through here. It kind of breaks down what the departments do, like the Ag Department, and it talks about what would be eliminated, Commerce. Here's the Defense Department. It shows what would be increased. You can see the increase is right around 56, I think it's supposed to be 56 or so billion dollars. This is what they would increase. And it goes through Department of Education would be cut, Energy cut, Health and Human Services cut, Health, Department of Homeland Security, this would be increased. It shows why and what would be increased. HUD decreased, Interior Department decreased, Justice Department actually would be decreased a little bit, Labor Department decreased, State Department, Transportation, Treasury, Department of Veterans Affairs, that is something that the president campaigned on. And that's a big thing to keep in mind on this, is these cuts right here, this is what President Trump campaigned on. So he is trying right now with this to keep a promise that he made during the campaign. So I want you to go through those a little more in detail once I'm done explaining this. So what I want you to respond, after you look through those and see what's going to be cut and what, hearing that they're going to cut $2.5 billion from the EPA, okay, you're like, oh, okay, I don't know what that means. That's why it's important for you to look in there and see, okay, if this money is cut from this program, this is actually what you would see reduction in. We're not going to do this. We won't be able to do this. Most likely people will be laid off from their jobs. So I want you to read through those. And then I want you to write down and explain one program the president has proposed to cut spending that could be beneficial. Okay? As you read through those, some of those you're going to say, I don't like this at all, and some of them you could say, okay, we only have a certain amount of money to go around. I can see the benefit in cutting this, and explain why. And then I want you to find one area program the president has proposed to increase funding that you think could be beneficial. Meaning, I think that increasing funding to this and the reasons and the places the monies will benefit by increasing that, I think that they're beneficial, and of the money we have to spend, I like the idea that we're going to put more money into this. So this should be several sentences for each one of these, and then you will give this to Ms. Kringen on your way out as a hard copy exit ticket. I would say Ms. Kringen probably should start with 10 minutes on the board, maybe do a check-in, but we're probably not going to do much more than 10 minutes. Okay? After you finish this, the next section you're going to go on to is climate change basics. We are going to do a basic little overview. You're going to need to use online research to answer the following questions. After you answer each question, I expect you to copy and paste the URL of the source you used to find that information. Please focus on credible resources, meaning .govs, .edus, .orgs. Those are always are usually pretty credible, but .coms aren't always not credible. But just try to avoid the ones that have bias or the things we've talked about. I need you to type out your responses to all of these. Copying and pasting is not acceptable. So there's a list of questions here. A lot of it has to do with what is the difference between global warming and climate change, some basic information about climate change. What are people saying who believe that climate change is either a hoax or not directly impacted by human activity? A lot of these have lists you need to have a minimum of 3 for this, 3 for this, 5 for this. So just pay close attention to what it's asking, and I don't think you'll have any problems with this at all. This, I would say, we're going to start with probably 20 or 25 minutes with the check-in. If we don't have enough time, based on what Ms. Kringen sees as far as how hard you guys are working in that, if we don't have time, we need to transition to a different activity before you're done. We will give you some time with this tomorrow, but that, again, is based on the effort you're putting in over the next 20-25 minutes. Okay? I think this should be pretty self-explanatory. So, again, let's start with shifts in spending. Look at that site, get an idea of what it's saying, answer those questions, and then on to climate change basics. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you guys very soon.